You know, what do you think about that, man? And can Chief Keef come back to
I still talk to him. I still FaceTime.
Everybody want me to talk about it, man. Chief Keef and NBA Youngboy did a song together, man. And people talking about that he ain't loyal to King Von or Dirk or none of that. Hey, look, bro.
Yo, the move Chief Keef pulled on his own block is absolutely insane. No cap. This dude really went and linked up with NBA Youngboy, the same cat whose whole crew caught King Von slipping out in Atlanta. And bro, it get way worse than that. O-Block been talking about blacklisting Keef, straight up banning him from the city forever. They saying if he ever step foot back in Chicago, it's gonna be serious problems waiting for him. Let me break down exactly how we even got to this point, because the story hit different when you know the full context of everything that went down between these people. Listen, before I get into all this craziness, you gotta really feel how much this betrayal hurt everybody on the block. We talking about somebody who literally grew up eating, sleeping, and moving with these exact same people every single day of his life. Now he out here kicking it with their biggest enemies. That ain't just disrespectful, that's a whole different level of snake shit. This ain't no regular rap beef either, my guy. This about honor, the street code, and how quick money make people turn their back on where they came from. This about loyalty and what it really means when you make it out. Let me take you through the whole story from jump, because this go way deeper than most people really understand when they watch him from the outside. Back in the day, Chief Keef wasn't no rich rapper with houses and foreign cars everywhere. Nah, young Keef was just another shorty in O-Block watching real killers move around him every single day, doing their thing on them streets. Parkway Gardens is one of them rough Chicago projects where dudes like King Von, Boss Top, and T-Roy was really handling business in them streets, putting in that actual work. Keef was young out the hood, but he had something different about him though. This nigga could rap for real, and he carried that raw energy that only come when you actually live in that life every single day. When he was coming up, he wasn't just talking about street life neither. He was really in it, getting locked up by police, getting caught in actual shootouts, doing the same things everybody around him was doing. His actual roots was deeper off Front Street than O-Block specifically, but all them sets, Front Street, 300, O-Block, they was all the same gang affiliation, and they all moved together as one unified unit. So when people say O-Block, they really mean that whole connected network running together as one force. Then 2012 hit, and I Don't Like dropped, and this nigga went from absolutely nothing to everything overnight. That $6 million deal with Interscope had him completely set for life. But here's the thing that people don't really talk about. Everything happened so fast that Keef ain't even had time to process his own come-up and what was happening to him. One day, he a regular kid in the project struggling with everybody else. Next day, he got millions and the whole world watching his every move. Then he do something crazy that changed everything. The moment that bread hit his account, he packed up all his stuff and dipped straight to LA without looking back. No looking back, barely brought nobody with him from his whole neighborhood. This man only took like 3 people from his whole block. 3 out of everybody who held him down when he was broke and couldn't eat, who kept him safe when things got dangerous and crazy, who made sure he was eating when he ain't had nothing. Only 3 got to come with him on this journey. Think about that for real. Your whole neighborhood got your back through everything, protecting you from ops, making sure you good when you struggling and broke. And the second you blow up and get that opportunity to change everybody's life and bring everybody up with you, you just ghost them all. That's exactly what Keef did. He grabbed his closest ones like Ball Out and Tato, but everybody else stayed stuck in Chicago dealing with the same problems and the same danger they always dealt with. That created mad resentment in the neighborhood because the homies felt like Sosa forgot about them the second he got rich and famous. The people back home started noticing a completely different Chief Keef than the one they knew. This wasn't the same cat who used to share whatever little money he had and look out for everybody no matter what. Now he all on Instagram flexing stacks, buying designer clothes and expensive jewelry, living in big mansions out in California. But his own people still in the trenches, struggling every single day, still in danger from ops, still fighting the same battles they was fighting before he made it big. And yo, that when the money and fame really got to his head and changed who he was. You gotta understand, when you go from having absolutely nothing to having millions of dollars, that change happened quick and it can corrupt you fast. But how you handle that change is what shows your character and who you really are. Some people get rich and bring everybody up with them, using their success to help the whole community. Other people get rich and act brand new like they don't know where they came from or who helped them get there. Sosa chose the second path, and that's the start of everything that followed. He went from being just another old block youth struggling like everybody else to acting like he above his own people and better than them. He started moving different, talking different, carrying himself like he transcended the block that made him who he is. The crazy part? His music was still all about O-Block, still claiming his set, still dissing their ops and rival. So he was using his connection to the neighborhood to make money and build his brand and get famous. But when it came time to actually help his people when they needed him most, he was ghost. That fake as hell. And the homies caught on to that real quick. King Von used to bring this up all the time in conversation. He'd talk about how Keef would be posting videos with guns and money, talking about putting work in the hood and hitting ops. But when it actually came down to helping the block and his people, he was nowhere to be found. Von thought that was some coward shit, straight up. You can't be claiming loyalty while refusing to actually show up and be there. Von felt like Keef was all talk and no action when it came to the block. But yo, this the part where the whole beef really got started and things escalated. This some real street politics that most people don't even understand when they looking at it from the outside. So there was this young nigga from O-Block named Trey 5 who caught a charge for having a gun on him. His bond was set at $25,000, but you only gotta put up 10% of that to get somebody out of jail. So they needed like $2,500 to get their homie home from lockup. Now that might not sound like a lot to some people who got money, but when you from the projects and you broke and struggling, $2,500 might as well be $25,000. That a whole lot of money when you ain't got nothing and you struggling to survive. So King Von, Boss Top, and all the O-Block members, they started doing whatever they could to get that money up together. They was hitting licks on people. They was hustling and selling whatever they could sell. They was doing everything possible to free their boy from jail. They was robbing people, selling whatever they could get their hands on, trying every hustle they knew how to do. But even after all that grinding and taking risks, they still came up short on the total. So they did what anybody would do when they got a rich homie who made it. They called up Chief Keef to see if he would help them out. This man just signed a $6 million deal with Interscope Records. So $2,500 should be absolutely nothing to him, right? That pocket change. They hit him up like, yo, we need you to help us get our brother out. We family. We all from the same block. That's what we do for each other. We been there for you. And you know what Keef kept saying? Yeah, I got y'all. I'ma send that money right now. Just give me a minute. Let me handle some stuff first and I got you. But days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months. And Sosa never sent that money. He kept stalling them, kept making excuses, kept saying he was gonna handle it real soon, but never actually did it. Tay Capone talked about this whole situation, and he broke it down perfectly for everybody. He said Keef had been playing them about this money for so long that they felt like they gave him plenty of time to do the right thing. They felt like their rich homie who had the means to help just wasn't doing it and was playing games with them. So they decided to take matters into their own hands because they felt abandoned. And that when things got real crazy, gang. King, Von, Boss Top, and some other O-Block members decided that if Keef wasn't gonna help them willingly, they was gonna take what they needed from him. They felt like since Keef was playing games with them and acting like he too good to help his own people, they had every right to get what they needed from him to help their homie. On March 27th, 2014, they pulled up to Keef's manager's crib in Highland Park, where Sosa was staying at the time. But this wasn't no friendly visit or nothing like that. This was a straight up home invasion, and they meant business. They broke in that house and started grabbing everything they could get their hands on. According to police reports that got leaked to the public later, they got Keef's car. They got mad designer clothes and expensive stuff worth thousands. And Boss Top even went into Keef's daughter's room and took some of her clothes, plus deodorant and detergent like he was robbing a whole house. Bro, you really out here? Stealing a baby's clothes? That's some next level petty shit, and it showed how mad they was in Sosa. But the wildest part? During all this, somebody got shot and ended up in the ICU fighting for their life. Police classified it as a home invasion and attempted murder. They named Boss Top and several other O-Block members as suspects in the case. They was facing serious time in prison if they got caught. And you know what Keef did after all this went down? His manager called the police and reported the whole thing. And Sosa got on Twitter calling his own manager soft for calling the cops on his own people. This man was more mad at his manager for snitching than he was at his own homies for robbing him. Then he tweeted, RIP Boss Top before deleting it, which people took as either you dead to me or maybe he thought he actually killed Boss Top when he was shooting back at him. The whole situation was crazy, and it created a permanent break between Chief Keef and his entire block. From that day on, it was never the same between them. But yo, it get even worse than that. During that whole home invasion situation, Boss Top managed to snatch Keef's chain right off his neck. And this wasn't just any chain, my guy. This was Sosa's signature piece, the one everybody knew him for wearing. This was his pride and joy, his most prized possession. For months, Boss Top kept that chain, and nobody really knew what happened to it or where it went. But then Lil Durk exposed the whole situation in a diss track he dropped. He literally said, "Boss Top got your chain" in the song, and let the whole world know that Chief Keef got robbed by his own people from his own block. That was probably one of the most embarrassing moments in Keef's whole career, no lie. Getting your chain snatched is bad, but getting it snatched by your own homies who you grew up with, and then having another rapper tell everybody about it on a song, that's a whole different level of embarrassment right there. That was humiliation. Boss Top even made a whole music video flexing Keef's stolen chain, taunting him and telling him to come back to O-Block if he want his chain back. He was posting pictures on social media with the chain, basically clowning Sosa and letting everybody know he took his jewelry and he was wearing it. People started calling Boss Top Broke Top and the Diaper Bandit after this whole thing went down, especially when people found out he stole baby clothes too. That really hurt Boss Top's reputation in the rap game and the streets. But he didn't care, because he felt completely justified in what he did. But the funniest part about the whole chain situation? That same chain later got taken from Boss Top by Famous Dex in a separate incident. So the chain went from Keef to Boss Top to Famous Dex. That's some crazy street politics right there. The chain was probably cursed or something, because everybody who had it ended up getting it took from them. That wild. Now King Von, he was one of the main people involved in all this robbery, and he never really stayed quiet about it. Von always felt like Keef was bogus and fake for how he handled the Trey 5 situation and everything that came after. In Von's mind, when you make it out the hood, you're supposed to bring your people with you and lift them up, not leave them behind and forget about them. Von used to talk about how Keef would be on Instagram showing off guns and money, talking about putting hits on the block and dissing ops. But when it came time to actually help his people, he was nowhere. Von thought that was some fake shit. You can't be talking about helping the block and repping O-Block when you won't even bond out your own homie when he needs you most. King Von was all about loyalty, and that was his whole thing. Loyalty to the block, loyalty to his people, loyalty to the street code and the rules. So when he saw Keef violating that code, when he saw him abandoning his own people, Von took that to heart, real deep. He felt like Keef was disrespecting everything they stood for and everything they believed in. And that created a permanent split between Keef and O-Block that could never be repaired. From that point on, you either roll with Sosa or you roll with the block. And most people chose the block because they felt like Keef violated the street code by not looking out for his own people. Von would always say that Keef was selfish, that he only cared about himself and his own success. And when you look at how everything played out, it's hard to argue with that assessment. Keef had the power to help his people, but he chose not to. And that choice cost him his whole relationship with the block forever. Now y'all gotta understand, all this wasn't happening in a vacuum by itself. This was during the peak of the Chicago drill scene, when all these different sets was beefing with each other and the violence was out of control. You had O-Block beefing with FBG, you had 300 beefing with 051. You had all these different conflicts popping off at the same time, and Chief Keef's music was fueling a lot of that violence. Songs like I Don't Like and Love Sosa was dissing dead ops from rival sets, which was making the beef even hotter. So Keef was making money off the violence, but he wasn't around to deal with the consequences of his actions. The homies back in Chicago was dealing with the retaliation, getting shot at by ops, losing friends and family members. But Keef was safe in LA, making millions off music that was putting his own people in danger. That's another reason why the block had bad feelings about him. He was using their pain, their struggles, their losses to make money and get famous, but he wasn't giving nothing back to help them deal with what his music was causing. Fast forward to November 6, 2020, when King Von got killed in Atlanta. And yo, This the part where everything get more complicated and where Chief Keef really showed his true colors and what he was really about. Von got caught by Lil Tim, who was running with NBA Youngboy's crew during that whole situation outside the hookah bar. That when everything changed. Soon as Von got killed, everybody who was close to him, Lil Durk, the whole crew, all of O Block, anybody who really loved Von, they all cut ties with NBA Youngboy immediately to show respect to Von's memory. That became the unwritten rule that everybody followed. If you was really Von's people, you didn't mess with NBA Youngboy or nobody connected to him. Point blank, period. That's just how street loyalty work and always has worked. When your brother get killed by somebody's organization, you don't turn around and link up with them later. You don't make music with them. You don't associate with them at all. You don't give them no love or respect. That's the basic street code that everybody understand and follow. Lil Durk took it the most serious out of everybody. He completely cut off any chance of working with Youngboy, even though they could have made mad money together and had hits. He chose loyalty over bread, which what you supposed to do when you really love somebody. But Chief Keef, this man ain't care about none of that. He already wasn't messing with O Block, and he definitely ain't have no love for King Von after all the drama they been through. So in Keef's mind, he didn't owe Von's memory nothing. He felt like since Von was part of the crew that robbed him, since Von always talked crazy about him and disrespected him, he didn't have to show him no respect or loyalty. And yo, it get even more disrespectful than that. Keef started linking with Kayla B, who King Von's sister, and you could tell Shorty was really feeling Sosa and catching feelings for him. They was posting pictures together on social media. She was showing him mad love on the gram, and it was clear she was developing romantic feelings for him. Now think about how wild this is. You got Von's own sister out here with the same cat her brother had beef with. That's the ultimate disrespect to Von's memory and everything he stood for. And O Block members was not having it at all. They was upset about it. Kayla was supposed to be loyal to her brother's memory and his name. But instead, she out here with Keef, the same man who ghosted the block and wouldn't help when they needed him most. The same man her brother thought was a snake and fake. This hurt a lot of people who was close to Von because they felt like his own sister was betraying his memory. They thought she should have known better, should have stayed down with her brother instead of getting with somebody he had problems with. But at the same time, you gotta understand Kayla's position too. She probably thought Keef was successful and rich and could take care of her in ways other people couldn't. And maybe she didn't fully get all the street politics and beef between Keef and her brother. Still, from the outside looking in, it looked like a major violation of family loyalty. And it made the whole situation between Keef and O Block worse because now it wasn't just about the old beef. Now it was about him disrespecting Von's memory through his own sister. But wait, it get even worse than that. NBA Youngboy went on interviews and said Chief Keef was his favorite rapper growing up. This the same cat whose crew killed King Von, and he out here saying Sosa inspired him and shaped his whole style. Youngboy talked about how he used to listen to Keef's music when he was coming up as a young nigga, how songs like I Don't Like and Love Sosa motivated him to start rapping. He said Keef was one of the main reasons he got into drill music and started making that aggressive type of music he known for. So what Keef do when he hear this? Instead of staying distant out of respect for the Von situation, instead of keeping it neutral and staying out of it, this man decides to link up with Youngboy in the studio. Think about how disrespectful that is, gang. You got Keef from the same block as Von, linking with the favorite rapper of the crew that killed Von. That like spitting on Von's grave for real. That like saying Von's life didn't matter. Like his death mean nothing. They made a whole song called Tony Montana Flow and just dropped it like nothing happened. They was in the studio laughing, having a good time making music while Von's people was still mourning his death. And when that song dropped, O Block members went crazy. They was posting on the gram talking about how Keef violated, how he a snake, how he can never come back to Chicago. They felt like that was the ultimate betrayal, the final straw that proved Keef don't care about nobody but himself. And yo, O Block ain't playing about this situation at all. They've been posting on social media saying if Keef ever comes back to Chicago, it's gonna be serious problems waiting for him. They talking about how he banned from the block, how he can't never show his face around there again without something bad happening. Some of the O Block niggas even said, if you think Sosa raw, you need to get slapped. They in his comments laughing and talking crazy, letting them know exactly how they feel about this whole thing. They posting pictures of guns, making threats, basically letting him know if he come back to Chicago, they gonna handle him real bad. And when Keef posted about wanting to buy O-Block, they responded saying, "You wish you could even come back here." That's how deep this beef go right now. They don't even want his money. They just want him to stay away completely and never come back. The crazy part is, some of these same niggas used to be his actual friends. They used to hang out together, make music together, have each other's backs. But now they talking about killing him if he come back to the city. That's how serious this betrayal is to them. They feel like Keef violated every rule of loyalty and respect. They feel like he chose money over family, fame over friendship, and success over loyalty. And in their minds, that make him an enemy, not just somebody they don't mess with no more. So now, Keef basically exiled from his own city forever. He can't come back to Chicago without it being serious consequences for him. The same block that raised him, the same people who had his back when he was nothing, they now consider him their biggest opponent. And all this could have been avoided if Sosa just helped bond out Trey 5 in the beginning. We talking about $2,500, pocket change for somebody with millions. But his pride and his selfishness cost him his whole connection with his people. The crazy part is, Keef probably don't even care at this point. He made so much money. He been away from Chicago for so long that he probably feel like he don't need them no more. He got his own crew, his own bread, his own success. So why should he care what his old block think about him? But that's exactly the problem. That mentality is what got him in this situation in the first place. When you forget where you come from, when you act like you don't need the people who help make you who you is, that's when you end up isolated and alone with nothing. Now he out here making music with NBA Youngboy, disrespecting Von's memory and acting like he don't care about no consequences. But the streets don't forget, and O-Block definitely ain't forgetting this kind of disrespect. But yo, this situation bigger than just Keef and O-Block. This about what happens when success change people, when money make you forget your values, when fame make you think you better than everybody else. The sad part is, it didn't have to be like this at all. Keef could have been a hero to his block, could have been somebody they looked up to and respected forever. Instead, he became a cautionary tale about how success can corrupt people and make them forget their values and where they come from. And that's the crazy story of how Keef went from O-Block hero to O-Block's biggest op. This man really chose NBA Youngboy over his own people, chose money over loyalty, and chose fame over family. He went from being the pride of his block to being somebody they want to see fall and fail. The wildest part is, all this started over $2,500. If Keef just helped bond out Trey 5 when they first asked, none of this would have happened. King Von probably still be alive today. Keef would probably still be welcome in Chicago, and the whole drill scene might be different today. But instead, his selfishness and pride cost him everything. Now he making music with the crew that killed his old friend, dating his old friend's sister, and acting like none of it mattered. That's some cold-blooded shit right there, no cap. But yo, if you learned something from this whole situation, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what y'all think about Keef's moves. Was he wrong for linking with Youngboy? Or do y'all think he don't owe O-Block nothing after they robbed him? Do y'all think he should have helped bond out Trey 5? Or was he right to keep his money? And if you want more content breaking down Chicago street politics and rap beef, make sure you subscribe because I got way more stories like this coming. The streets got a long memory and these beefs run deeper than y'all think. I got stories about Lil Durk and Youngboy, stories about FBG, Duck, and O-Block, stories about all the wild politics going on in Chicago. I'll catch y'all in the next one. And remember, loyalty over everything. But some people just don't understand that when you make it out, you're supposed to bring your people with you, not leave them behind.